Hello, everybody. I'm just trying to get this thing. What the? What? How in the? Excuse me. That's my alarm going off. It's waking everybody up. Ah, this is stupid. Now my pocket just sets off that alarm in the car sometimes in the middle of the night. So let's see if we can get other things going. Hi, guys. Um, I gotta try and get this working. Okay, cool. Looks like it is. It's so annoying when you have a sensitive car alarm and it's just in your pocket and then it does things at the time you always don't want it to. Hi guys, how are you doing? I want to thank you for being here on this being here. What a relative term. I mean, you're all in your own places and so being here with consciousness. We would have been on the beach, but Rebecca has a class that she's got to do. So she's using my hotspot. And so this one is about landing the destiny, right? So this is the legacy of light that everything we've worked for, and harvesting these dreams that have often been suspended in other dimensions. And so I feel like just having Cartron come through right away so that we can works. Yeah, it's funny. The alarm said, "Oh, I'm going to start beeping." It's only 11:06 p.m. here. And so this is the second broadcast in the upper bedroom. It's a very interesting little place. It's a triple split level. I'll just show you real quick. That's what it looks like going down into two more levels. So can't do much more than that right now because I don't want to mess up anything that's working. And come on. And so all right, cool. So I'm gonna have Cartron come through and thank you so much. We'll talk to you later. Life is good, blah blah blah. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes have you ever just felt like you just don't want to deal with life? You don't want to do what you got to do. It's like, wow. But, as we do it, it's great. Every time there's a Cartron broadcast that I'm not feeling really enthused about, but I do it, it always feels better afterwards. So it's good to keep on that schedule, isn't it? So I'll talk to you guys later. Yay. And la di da. Bye. It's a very interesting thing to look at today, the human reality and you guys in it. Interesting in the form of we were taking and doing a mirror reflection of what's happening on this planet in this dimensional physical world in relation to you guys on this broadcast. And then we placed a mirror above it, reflecting its image. And so it's very interesting to look at, like, on one level you have that lens and here's the other one, to look at both images going on simultaneously. And so this was to observe from a different perception than what we usually holographically scan with. And so how are you guys doing? We were scanning also because we're about to mention to you and offer to you, we see the answer that you give, but we also have to look at the real thing that you would like to participate in. What we mean by that is, you might say, "Yay, Cartron, just do this. It's really great." But if we really trigger certain things, it'll start to cause an effect in your existences. The quandary that we have is that we've taken you to a certain level, right? Very high frequencies. And you guys are doing really well. You're integrating them and all of that. But if we started triggering the super divine energies, then it's like it could get very intense. Not the same as, but similar to the type of things Rebecca goes to, where she gets overcooked in things, because we would be triggering like the quantum states of your light bodies. So to land the destiny and bring in your legacy of light and get your dreams harvested, it's not necessary to do that, because we're not talking about going up into heaven and dancing on the sun. We are talking about your destiny here on earth and the components of that, which are basically why you really are here. Um, and the legacy of light, as we said in the title, is about what is your legacy as your destiny is fulfilled, is what you leave in your wake. Because truthfully, if we asked each of you, how many of you are supposed to leave a great legacy for the world, and you were very honest and sincere, basically all of you would say, yes, I am. And so to walk that talk can be kind of intimidating, can't it? Because humanity is so busy at being professional excuse users. Oh, I can't do that. Why I can't do this. Now, the society is making sure that you feel unempowered to be able to activate who you truly are. Because you can't have a bunch of empowered humans and light workers suddenly getting into their position, because then they just start straightening things up, wouldn't they? It's like, wow. So basically, we're going to get you out of crapitis, meaning this paradigm that has all this stuff in it. Because this is like a mosh pit of possibilities. And there's a full spectrum, full gambit of frequencies, right? The highest and lowest. And so, what we have made sure to do with you over the time was to complete all of the bottom spectrum covenants that have bound you, kept you here, the human experiences, what you're supposed to take on, the relationships you have, the lessons you learn, and the dysfunction and the pain and suffering, and blah, 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 blah. It's like the normal human stuff. And if we asked you how many of you feel like you really have time for that right now, you may feel like, well, that was then, Cartron, this is now. And so our quandary is, what do we do with you to bring in that destiny? Because we're literally talking about a different continuum, right? In the 60s, we'll use the 1960s as a good reference. Let's see, this is YouTube. It might be correct. So we are designing this now. Well, Kaylis, there's different versions of what the divine can intend for you. It's not just one set of laws or one possibility. There's different versions. And the whole destiny thing, which is not really to discuss the semantics of it, the details. Let's just say that you guys are having more of a multiple choice menu. Because as you get into your frequencies, does it really matter what you do if you're in that vibration? Because everything that you do is your destiny. Does this make sense? Please respond on the chat. Let's just diagram where your dreams are. The basic, and we'll do a timeline here. And we'll just start with the 1960s. And we'll see if this is, and so let's see if this is correct. Well, it's backwards, but this is the 1960s, and this is present, and that's heaven, that's earth. And so, as heaven was bringing in this destiny cycle, right? You have this situation to where you guys were the bridges and the trees of life and stuff for it. And so it's like this thing where you, in the human matrix, where the humanity was, you were like on the upper part of the human reality, right? So you guys were the light workers here. We'll do this backwards. That should be correct. Light workers. And so the light workers were the upper band of the spectrum because you guys were holding the place between heaven and humanity. And so the human matrix of souls comprises a lot of those lagging behind, as we've discussed so many times, from all over the place. The unique thing about Earth was that the physics was designed to where it would literally allow a billion different experiences to be independent of each other. So each level of reality can operate separately and independently while still in the same dimensional planetary plane. And so this situation is thus your dreams had a timeline and you were bringing it in. So there was the 60s, the 70s movement, and then the 80s, we'll say harmonic convergence. And so, then there's these things, and then 2000 was another one. Right around there was a thing where you could have landed a really great level of destiny, but you'll see they always tampered with this thing because they were always monitoring it to try and kick out the light. So your dreams are not just dreams, right? Those are code matrices. Those are computer programs to change the matrix in a correction program. And so these are your correction programs that you came in with, like software. Now, of course, sometimes the seeds were planted while you were existing and breathing, but still, right? So we'll just say the humans, we are really assisting this body in learning about dyslexia and how to use it properly. So here's the human level, and then the lower part of the matrix. Here's the light worker. Here's heaven. Here's earth. And so at these time dates that go on, right? The present, the 80s, and the 2000s, the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s. There were these markers across the timelines that could have brought in a great thing, like the harmonic convergence of 1987. Millions of people were ready to have the ships land. This 1960s, oh, the CIA invented this drugs and stuff, says, aha, let's use that for mind control, and it blew them open, and okay, here's love and light. Oh, damn it, they're messing with our wars. And so the 70s was the renaissance of the environment movement. And so at each point, there could have been a landing, a very strong landing of your dreams and visions. The nature of your existences now is you've gone through the paradigm of lower nature, right? And so now here you are, and you're getting all cartricized. And so as we do this with you, you guys are being brought up and popping into heaven back and forth. You really are the stitching program between fabrics of reality. And so, along those lines, we've also we've recovered a lot of your dreams, and they're in upstairs being upgraded. They're being, made more modern because the dreams that you had a certain version of it, but that was with that technology and all that stuff. So we're really looking at giving the dreams that you have, meaning those visions, those purposes of why you're here and all that, the new streamlined hot dog software that can come in and change the world. Press a button and you're giving a message to the whole planet type of tech. And so now your dreams and destinies, and here's another thing, I let you know, we've planted them in the timelines on the way up to heaven. So these things are poised for you guys to run into them again. Does this make sense? Respond on the chat. So now you have this new seeding of divinity. And these seeds are here. And it's like they took the best because the other parts of that vision was for that time. And it was okay to let that vision be sacrificed, to be offered up. right? Because that was that version. But it doesn't mean that the dream, the seed of heaven, and all of that stuff disappeared. It was that version that was complete. And now we have these new, better versions. The reason we focused on practical divinity, where if you can't put it in your gas tank or pay your bills with it, it's still just a philosophy, is because this was bringing divinity in to the base matrix, the lowest common denominator of humanity, and working with the most practicable type of divine science available, because that as that foundation, then we all this stuff above this practical, real world, in your face, everyday life type of stuff now becomes the foundation. And we got all these other levels of dimensions. If we would have said love and light, here it is, and all of that, and didn't make it practical, so to speak, then it would have been that band of spectrum. So now that we have a gambit of reality, and we're reminding you as well that this interaction of interference of the shadows and all that stuff, all these patterns that made sure stop it, don't have too much peace, can't have the ships land, got to make sure our war is going, got to use petroleum or whatever. Each time it destroyed and sabotaged and messed with the light, and we've got to have more war. We can't have too much love and light and peace. Oh, they're waking up, bring in more weird stuff. Oh, have this little shenanigan in office now, la da 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 da. It's like Patrick saw a beautiful sticker, and he will say it again. It showed the president with some clown hair and a bright orange nose. It says, "Elect a clown, expect a circus." And so, what a fine conductor of circuses he is. And we are not saying what is and is not illusion, but let's just say there are so many layers that is not revealed yet, but they will be, and that's going to be like, oh my God. In the meantime, the catalyst of the collective consciousness, that foci in that presidency, right, is like the whole composite of the collective id of in a dysfunctional way, so to speak. So it's not really a person there. It is someone who's embodying all of this askewed stuff. And so that role that they're playing, they're doing very well. But at the same time, look at this dance and the dogs and ponies are doing all this, and hey, I'm top of the world, baby. Then there's 10 other levels that are going on simultaneously. So if they can keep you distracted, hey, look at this, like beautiful dance. Oh my God, I'm gonna go beat up on all the homeless people because their needles are going out and stabbing whales or whatever. And and so, but at the same time, that is a ruse to pull you away from the 3 to 5 primary layers of things that they are doing to make adjustments to this world to prepare for the imminent changes on the most practical levels of economy, politics, law, all that stuff. How this will play out is yet to be known, however. And so, during that all that usurpation of your destiny, it interacted with your destinies. And every time it interacted, it tempered it a little more, made it a little more street smart, got it more relative and relevant to deal with polarity. So this tempering of the delicate dreams and destinies and stuff like that has now created a new mutation, a new hybrid destiny, seeds and plan and stuff like that. So when we are going to land your destiny, we are talking about this new improved versions because those versions are there. They're recorded. The dreams that you had to put on the shelf and live your lives and get your families or raise your kids. But now it's time for the new improved codes. Are you guys ready for those? And so let's rock and roll, shall we? That's why you hardcore Cartronians are here signed up. Oh God. Yes, we're paying for this. Oh, thank us later. Because in order to bring in this level of seeds of destiny, you have to be calibrated to the frequency that they can land in. And so, are you guys okay? with getting a lot of light and stuff that's going to do processes. How many of you have noticed, especially since you've connected with us in the Cartron thing, that your lives have gotten all this drama and weirdness and everything else? It's starting to stabilize out. And now you've got this divine frequency spectrum that keeps being serviced. Have you noticed a calming of that drama? Have you noticed a removal of that weirdness? And now you guys are at this band of the spectrum instead of the lower one. So now that this has jettisoned all this stuff over the years or months that you've known us, now it's time to really activate the band above where we have taken you. And so there's so many considerations and how it applies to your humanness, because your humanness has all these things, right? Psychology, mentality, intellect, consciousness, blah, 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 emotional, spiritual reality, and then all the interactions that go with having a working relationship with the divine, because you're talking about not just bringing in landing your destiny. We're talking about being the things that will start the mechanics of bringing that possibility in as it joins with other possibilities. So you realize, if you contemplate this, you can see that we're literally bringing in another, the fabric that has been tempered with this polarity, and this will have your dreams and visions in it. And there's a different set of laws. They're normal. Instead of just meditating overnight samadhi and down here, pay your bills, do your job, go to the bathroom, eat, sleep, whatever. There's a different set of laws and protocols that also will be coming in, because those seeds of destiny definitely are not from Earth, but they're coming here. Are you guys ready to receive those seeds that are known, proved, and kind of on steroids, just like your Superman seeds? It doesn't mean they're going to lift tall buildings in a single bound, although they may reserve the right to do that. It does mean that they are ready to bring in the divine sciences of heaven that are getting ready to really redefine, dissipate, disseminate, disassemble the third dimensional reality. We're talking like even the quantum sciences that are coming into technology now. The augmented stuff and all of that, the different versions of things. One of the things that the manipulators and controllers so deftly attempted to continue is the control and manipulation. And it is to no avail, because once you touch heaven enough, you start invoking its soul. And so the tempering and the tampering that they've done now has invoked their destiny to awaken, one that is the fulfillment of their shenanigans. Why do you think they're scrambling and scurrying about like certain vermin that is trying to find their place? Guys, there's no place on a planet that's ascending. And so that's their story, isn't it? Your story is here, and let's begin it this evening. Okay, so everything's good. Rock and roll, babes. Patrick came up with a very funny commercial, because he was thinking, well, we're just going to literally bring Cartron and all of that stuff in on the level that humanity has been put into. And so he came up with an extremely raucous thing that he's thinking about introducing on Keith um, the Keith show that's coming on the 26th, that we will be on. Blanchard, to be in tomorrow's newsletter. And so this is something that is about literally taking it into the version, because they've taken humanity and put it into its lowest three chakras, and how to raise it up and basically get the attention going. And so it's very kind of a raucous nature. So Patrick is contemplating if he should do that. Because one of the things that he has realized is that it is through the desensitization of humanity that has allowed them to be so dumbed down that they're not connected to the cosmos anymore. There's no sensitivity for it. They've been shut off. And basically, that's how erectile dysfunction works. And so the phrase Patrick came up with was cosmic erectile dysfunction, where there's no sensitivity anymore to the cosmos. And he even wrote out a commercial. So that's the thing he's looking at because, oh, God, he's going, you kidding me? This is like too insane, Cartron. Oh, wow, this is like so neat. Because it's like, well, yes, we don't have to fit into the masses, but this would be a humorous way to get some of their attention. Let's see, how are you guys doing? Okay, good. So we'll do the 3 breaths of soul. And the chat is working, yes. One person respond, please. Everything you should hear correctly, yes? That's right, Kayla. So we were going to get the attention of those who were kind of stuck in those chakras. And it's by design, right? Because if you can keep them sick and working, and keep them sick and all that stuff, got to keep the meat animals working, right? But if we started really raising them up, so that's the joke that Patrick was saying, oh my God, this is like, whoa. So now we are invoking the councils of destiny. And this is a council that runs the destinies, and it also has an association with the fates, and also karmic board, halls of judgment, Michael, clarion call, open the portal of the grand hall, the archangels. Everyone, contemplate your favorite deity, and we're going to bring them in, and we're calling upon your higher selves as well. We're not doing it in the usual protocol on purpose. So Saint Germain, Shambhala, open that gateway to the Ascended Lord and Lady Masters. It would be so nice to be able to just project these imageries. Like just now, there was an image in this mind that showed you guys all the trees with your branches into heaven, but also your branches into earth, and your roots into earth, and your roots into heaven. So you're like a reverse tree. But you're like this amazing conduit that allows the transfer and the connection between dimensions. And so the pauses that are happening right now in this event are because we are having to design this stuff. It's not been done before, which is landing your destiny in such a way as we're calling upon the karmic, let's see, the Galactic Federation of Worlds as well. You see, this session is rearranging itself chronologically because we are about to go through all the points in time where your dreams almost made it to Earth. So it's very interesting when you're attempting to have a succinct um, order of sentencing when you're actually starting to open up the gates of time and the different aspects of your divine possibilities that almost manifest. And so we're going to call upon um, the lords of karma and also the lords of time. your higher selves. Remember, we called upon those guys. So, first breath, breathe yourself in, hold it, exhale, let yourself go, fall into peace within the still point. Second breath to soul, breathe in your spirit, hold it, breathe in the peace of stillness. And now exhale, releasing your greater purpose here. Third breath of soul, breathe that in from above. Curtain opens within. The solace that is starting to undo you is starting to permeate into that breath of your soul. Exhale, fall into your soul space. And this time, it's time to get even a better space. So the fourth breath is to source within the soul. So now, immolate in the soul. Feel the solace has discreated you so you may enter as a basically like a virgin being, a being that is uncreated and not creating. That's the sacred geometry version. They call them virgin numbers because they cannot create nor are created, and that's the mystery numbers of 7 and 13. Because they don't fit within the set of numbers on either side of them. And so now, as we breathe in the soul, so breathe it in, hold it. This is the inner soul. The curtain opens up to source within. And exhale your soul light out to the world through the gateway systems that got you here, and fall back into source, which is the pure essence of light within your soul. One, two, three. See yourself above the veil now. At the same time, you're in your source and in your soul and in your spirit and in your, body. So we've created like a telegraph, like if you put two mirrors together, we have several reflections of you. And this is your juxtaposed referencing, because we are talking about triangulating you, not only in time, but in reality. If you listen to this broadcast again, you may get what we are doing. We're literally creating a structure, a reference that can allow you to be placed into a matrix of a hologram. Because with the destiny that you are getting ready to receive, that will land in your beings and your lives, comes the world that it is making. Are you guys still game with that? Yeah, baby. Elga, you didn't miss much. Go to your three breaths to soul, or just go to your soul. Breathe into your source, the light of God within your soul. Just open the gateway, and everyone now up above the veil, look around. You can tell us what you see or not, and just you might see beings or structures. And now we're going to ask that your higher self appear and to join with you and mingle in. So everybody breathe in the higher self upstairs. And so now, as you're calibrating, breathe 3 breaths with your higher self and your soul body self. So first breath, this is a calibration to align to be one. And just do those breaths. Greetings, mighty councils, and thank you for attending the sacred enclave of awakening. We are here now to activate the field of destiny, and these beings who are a part of this actually have seeds connected with our matrix. And so, therefore, they are not in the same capacities as a regular Homo sapien, light beings. You guys know these beings that we work with all the time in the body. And so it is time for you to bless them or bless their seeds of destiny, the new improved versions. And so we're opening the gateways of all these seeds. And so everybody, what we're doing upstairs is we're taking your matrix of possibilities of this divine, because that's what a seed or a divine plan or an idea is. It is a possibility. And so now on the count of three, we're going to open up all of them and put a kind of like a golden portal. And so one, two, three, all your seeds of possibility each have a golden portal within them. They can be very small or big or whatever. And so relevant ascended masters, guys, everybody focus on your favorite deities, the beings, whatever. And now, everyone, could you please breathe your wisdom, your power, your light, your life, your opportunities, your energy, your ability to bring in divinity into this world. Breathe it into all of those seeds now. The breath of fire. And so, as these seeds ignite, like the fire from the phoenix, they now get triggered. This is definitely a triggering. And so now we're going to have this is kind of a really cool way to do this. Your higher self is the component of your identity, of your being, right? It's like a crossroads point between the heavens and the guides and the earth level stuff. And so your higher selves are like the go-to points between these different realms. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to put a crystal temple of love in your higher self's heart. And this will then be the place where the seeds of destiny will be received. Because right now they're too hot. Not the seeds we've brought on fire, but they're too vibrationally intense for this world. But through the filter of love in your temples of love, in your hearts, you will be able to be that, like the forge, like the blacksmith that takes these and tempers these possibilities and embodies them. In this, the density of your flesh is extremely important, that your body has carbon based stuff. And so now, as we install this temple of love within the heart of the higher self, a portal opens, and now, higher self, you breathe in the light of heaven and breathe it into your higher self's heart. Remember, you are your higher self upstairs right now. Okay, and then breathe it out and temper this. It's like a furnace forging and tempering a device or whatever that they used to do, the weapons and all of that. They're tempering the metal. So we're tempering your crystal temple of love in the heart of your higher self. And now, reaching out to all of those dreams and visions and seeds and ideas and concepts that are yours, everyone, your higher self, you breathe out and then collect all those seeds. And on the count of three, breathe in and see every seed of destiny come into your higher self's temple of love. 1, 2, 3. Now, just see them all coming in. They have your signature, so it's easy to get. All right. So just call them home. You are calling home the vibration of you. And these destiny seeds have that signature in it. So they get retrieved when you call yourself home. Interesting divine sciences, isn't it, when you're doing this type of work? And so now all of these seeds are getting into these temples of love, and we are going to rearrange those seeds, the primary ones, and there'll be like an enneagrammical thing around the grand hall within the temple of love in your heart. And these will be the seeds of fire, 9 of them. And then there'll be the other rings of the inner and the inner and the inner. Secondary, tertiary, quadrant level. And so these 9 are the primary dream sets of destiny for you. You notice how the title Legacy of Light, this is what you've been worked on and what heaven has worked on with and for you. And then it's time to harvest the dreams. Yeah, the ones that were lost through time. So now, as we open the time gate into the past, you will take your higher self breath and you will breathe it into the past timeline. And what this will do is it will then surround and encapsulate all of your moments when your seeds of destiny almost landed. So, 1, 2, 3, breathe out. And as it goes, you might see it encapsulate things. This is the point where the timelines cross and you could have gotten into a higher possibility. So all those places that you thought were lost have been suspended in time and can be activated in the perfect moment, even if it is then. And remember, if we activate a then divine possibility, well, it's going to ripple forward and create a different now, right? And so breathe out again, and this will be a net of God, and you're going to bring in your seeds of destiny of the almost. So breathe it in now. And this is not going to be in your temple of love, but it's going to go through its adjustments and cleansing, because think of the trauma that these things had to endure as they watched themselves perish and die, sometimes painfully so, or a slow death through consistent mediocrity of watching the life force and the light being slowly drained and fed off of, used for the wrong purposes, as that dream, that seed, in that moment in time becomes more and more dim, losing all hope of ever succeeding. It is that level of stuff because those seeds were the hope of humanity. And so they're being, angels take them up now. So as you retrieve them, remember through time, the angels will take them and align them, and they will add them to that experiential part of the matrix of this new improved seat of destiny. Is this all making sense to you guys? This is really the codec part where we're getting this thing calibrated, set, we're tweaking this stuff. We're kind of like fixing the part where the software will plug in the box of the computer that is your being. And so now we are going to have you go with your higher self. You've done the job. Remember, breathing in the almost and also those seeds of destiny that were flaming. On the count of 3, you will stand before your own temple of love in your heart space because it's in your divine heart, right? And now 1, 2, 3, it's activating in your body's heart. So now everyone come to that area. And so on the count of 3, you and your higher self will join yourself for tea in your temple of love, in your heart, in your body. So 1, 2, 3, you can take a deep breath. And when you exhale, you're going to just drop into that temple of love in your heart in this world. Do so now. And you wind up there. It's not some bubble you can interact with. The temple of love in your heart is connected to the universe itself. How are you guys doing? Report, please. And so, Kaylis, that allowing and accepting is automatic because, guys, this isn't about some rogue or run amok type of destiny over blessing things. This is the matrix of the new earth, right? Or the thing that gets you there because it's the stitching and connecting Exodus with the pillars and the trees and all that. And Bigfoot, the beauty and profundity. You see, guys, the world that this comes in form, do you know what's there? Do you know what the world that your dreams have been building in? The consistency of it. What is it like? Remember, there's a new set of laws. They don't have to be so third level. So if you have the higher laws interacting with that realm, then what do you have? You have the magic and enchantment. This is when humanity was not cut off, was not severed by the hatcheting priesthoods of long ago. And so by having this connection, it is at a place where you're about to have never needed to forget in the first place. And it might be a little confusing, but think about all the ramifications and ripple effects. If your destiny starts coming in now, new improved, street smart, knows how to text or whatever, and now you are connected to the matrix on Earth. Now you have this web that you can affect, right? So this ripple effect. Not time to get into that now, but can you comprehend? Can you see the power that's possible here if it's done correctly? What an exciting time for you. So now drop into that temple of love. Go in through the grand entrance. Walk into the grand hall where 9 pillars exist as seeds. And now we are going to take, as you stand in the middle with your higher self, you are going to join each one. Remember, those seeds came from your heart of your higher self, but now they're going to be joining with the heart of your body self with the higher self's assistance, because the higher self and everything's all calibrated. Yummy, yummy. So now, in your bodies, you will take a deep breath of this power of light that is already forming in your chest. And hold it. And now exhale out the residual, which is divine light. So now this is integrating, these seeds are integrating through the temples of love in your hearts. This way, they remain undetected because the temple of love in your heart, not of this world, it is between worlds, in fact. And so, what an interesting thing, isn't it? We've created a latency, a thing that has a dormancy, but it's already triggered an awakening. Because remember, we affected those dreams that almost made it, and we're affecting this present. So, what do you think's happening with the future right now? You are being written into it. Okay, so now that there's been an integration and we've got this accordion effect, it's time to bring in the cosmic light that's going to trigger it. And this is what we were talking about, the high frequency. Are you guys ready to have the central sun itself temper your seeds of fire and turn them into golden seeds of light? As we open up the portal in the central sun, and we open up the portal in your local sun star, and we energize the crystal matrix grid outside the earth and open a gateway towards your sun. We're also taking that same gate and pointing it towards the central sun. The calibration, angulation. If you look on the Fermi bubbles with the designation of where you are, it's some big bubbles in the cosmos. And so it is a mathematically perfect proportion between your sun, solar system, and the Milky Way galaxy Fermi bubbles. And there's also a gamma ray discharge, a burst, if you look on some pictures. And that angle is perfect as well. This whole well, the whole universe, but in this case, your solar system and the galaxy that it is in were very specifically done so that those angles and everything could bring in that soul stream to incarnate, because they needed to have a home to finish evolving. And so counsels is just necessary for these beings of light who are receiving these seeds to not have the resistance and the thing that wants to put a bullseye on your dreams. This is the thing that is ready to really start triggering stuff. And these guys have signed up here. They subscribed, counsels. How sincere is that? There's a million other things they could do with their time and energy. So this level of dedication is immutable. It is without question, because look at how much time and energy these beings, councils, are putting into these broadcasts as we build and design these beautiful things of heaven. So you guys see how this was bringing in quietly your seeds of destiny, like some big marching band fanfare, because they're going to integrate and start changing your life. The dynamics of the laws of physics and everything else are working with the unseen and how to engineer it and bring it in. Those seeds and ideas are not just things that can grow in the proper substrate. They are things that have the programs on how to install the new paradigm, that new earth itself. And so, um, yes, Elga, you always were between worlds. Now more so, which is ironic, guys, because if you look at this, you could be between worlds, but you're also in both worlds on either side of it. Now you have the best scenario because you have the front row seat in a body, and you put up with it long enough, didn't you? And now you can start, well, they're going to start showing you how to work with this science, not even the energy. The energy is kind of automatic when you're working with some of things like that. So, um, as we open the portal to the central sun, we call upon Helios and Vesta, as well as Soleil, Rebecca's solar dominion angel, to then open up that portal and create a wormhole effect to your local sun star. And now that we have a conduit, we're going to bring the two portals of the sun together. And now the gateway in the sun facing Earth, resonating them. And so as we do this now, we bring those together into the crystal matrix grid. And so just know, guys, that the teacher part of you has just been transmuted on Earth, because that which bound humanity into its lowest common denominator process is starting to weaken its bonds upon that spirit and soul of humanity, because you're bringing in the light then when you were here in other lives. Ah, what an interesting, complicated, and beautiful mess this is, isn't it? And so, um, we asked the central sun, and Soleil, could you please go into the central sun? And on the count of three, uh, we will trigger this 1, 2, 3. And as this energy joins, it goes immediately into your local sun, doing its alchemy. And now the sun gate connects with the earth gate. And on the count of three, we will transmit this. And this energy will be for tempering your seeds, not for cooking the world. This is the timing mechanism that heaven does respect, right? But not at your expense anymore. It's time to get on with everything, isn't it? And so, 1, 2, 3, breathe in that pristine energy. This is the cooling breath of earth, like a beautiful meadow or sunny, cloudy day in the forest. And now, as this energy comes in, it breathes that fire, 1, 2, 3, into those crystal seeds of love and destiny. And now a great resounding radiation will come from each of you, and it will go out to the world and beyond where you are. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to pulse you with this divine, like a laser light, but made of quantum field. Now, so this is rippling it out. You know, every time we do a breath or whatever, it calibrates a little more because it's a very dense realm that they've made humanity into. And what's nice is that that intense swing of the pendulum will now start swinging back into a beautiful enlightenment. However, there's those forces that just simply will have nothing to do with that. And they're going to make sure that not all the information comes through. But it's okay because when it doesn't come from one level, it comes from 10 others. Does this make sense, guys? How are you doing? Respond on chat. These seeds that have been tempered with the golden light are the seeds that can be planted to shift the reality. Like we mean shift the hologram, but you guys don't have the user manuals yet. We're invoking those. We're calling upon the angelic scribes, and thank you for attending. Guys, these light workers are all ready. They are all ready to know how to work with the subtle energies of the cosmos. It's time to enhance their existing knowledge and really open up things into their highest divine level for them. Thank you, Angel. Everything looked pretty good. We just scanned all of that. And so you guys should be quite stable because we put it in that dimension next door in your temple of love. The way it's triggered is a kind gesture, an act of generosity, just vibrations of love, and it can start awakening and triggering those seeds. And so this is as far as we're supposed to take this. We are complete for now. The next phase will be to get it going. And so next week, Call of Angels of Earth and Light, the equinox on Monday, and then ninth wave grounding, and then Guardians of the New Earth, New Moon, and then Cartron, Wednesday. So Thursday, we will be on the Blanchard radio, and then the Guardians of the Earth New Moon. So this is the awakening, the guardianship of the Earth, and then the final broadcast will be. We'll see if we can do any inaugural podcast on the 30th. It is weird because Patrick's like he only has so much time and energy. So, but there's a podcast that is the idea that seems streamlined, right? Kind of like what's happening with your Seeds of Destiny. It's time for Patrick to go, okay, let's take Cartron, put him in a little app. And that way, press the Daddy K app, and it's going to go, hey, today's consciousness is feel your codes. Have a nice day. And so we want to thank you guys. Have a beautiful day and a wonderful ascension. Any questions, Patrick will complete. Farewell. Hi, guys. How are you doing? Some of you probably felt some really good stuff. And those that didn't, it's okay because it's in such a state that it's not able to be accessed nor comprehended from the third dimension. Happens a lot with the Cartron process. You notice how as soon as this is done, it's like it never happened. That's because it's not registering in this densified polarity. But you know what goes on. And so thank you guys for being a part of this and your patience while we get this thing figured out. I guess it's going to tell us pretty soon. You have my email and all that stuff. I don't know when Rebecca's going to do her manifestation and stuff. We'll find out. And keep us posted as to what goes on, information, things of significance, so we can put that into our registry and see what's going on because you just might come up with the next amazing subject matter for the Cartron thing. We'll talk to you guys later and have a wonderful day. Bye.